Soul fragments are not only just pieces of your soul that you give to somebody else or that someone else gives to you. They are in fact fractures within your energy field. They can create dissonance, they can create holes, they can create leaks in your energy. They can wreak all sorts of havoc on your energy field if they are not properly returned to whom they originally belonged to. Soul fragments are something that happen on a relatively regular basis here on Earth. And it has to do with a particular trauma. It has to do with a particular emotion or feeling that the person might be feeling at that time. A yearning, a need, anguish, any sort of desperation can create that type of soul fragment that tears the energy in your energy field. Welcome to the Akashic Recordings. My name is Annette Delu, Akashic conduit, channel, and spiritual guidance coach. What you're about to experience is an authentic Akashic Records session with me and one of my clients. Shared with permission and with names changed for privacy, these sessions offer a sacred window into the records themselves. By listening, you're invited into these beautiful stories, an intimate glimpse into the wisdom, healing, and guidance held within the Akashic field. You might even find yourself connecting to some of the information there, feeling some aha moments that the information resonates for you and your life. If you would like to book a session with me and be part of the podcast, please feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. When you book your session, just make sure to check the box that you would be interested in having your session utilized for the podcast. If you have been wanting to learn how to connect more deeply with your intuition and the Akashic Records, I have amazing news. You can now join the waitlist for the next Soul Discovery Workshop. Simply head to my website, and on the homepage, you'll find a section for Soul Discovery Workshop with a button that says sign up for the waitlist. That is at infinitesoullove.com. By joining the waitlist, you'll be the very first to know when the next online workshop opens for registration. Just enter your name, your email address, your phone number, and I'll make sure that you receive the registration email as soon as the course is ready to launch. And as a thank you, everyone on the waitlist will also receive an exclusive early bird discount code when registration opens. If this workshop has been calling to you, make sure you head to the website now and sign up for the waitlist today. We originally spoke with Abbey back in season 3, and we were discussing some issues she was having with anger regarding some of the dynamics that were happening in her workplace. Now she joins us in a lighter energy. She's done a lot of the work that we talked about in the last session with her. And in addition, we did have another spiritual guidance session together, which really helped her get through some of the issues that she was dealing with at the time. So now she comes to me with a totally open energy to allow whatever is going to come through in this session. We talk about soul fragments and why you might actually give somebody a fragment of your soul, or why you might receive a fragment of somebody else's soul. We also discuss how it is that you can be healed in a certain area of your life, but yet still your thoughts and your brain almost work against you and repeat the same thoughts or thought patterns over and over again. Join me in this beautiful exploration of a session that had almost no questions in the beginning, and we allowed the guides to guide us where we needed to go. So tell me, what would you like to cover today?
It's funny, I'm not 100% sure. For 2 seconds of recap, I did 2 calls with you, and I don't expect you to remember them because I know you have a ton of clients, in Q4 of last year. One of them, we did an Akashic record. And then the second one, while I had set up an Akashic record session, I would say it was really spiritual guidance, which was super valuable. I was really upset and angry at the time, and you helped me work through it. This all has to do with a lot of stuff going on for me at work. And For some reason, about a month ago or whenever, I just felt called to maybe do another session with you. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why, like, or for what reason. And at the time, I was just like, I'm going to go ahead and just put it on the calendar. And what's been interesting is it's turned out that today is actually a significant day because this deal I'd been part of at work paid out today. I didn't know it would pay out today at the time we set the call. And also because of the inflection point of the deal paying out, it's been a 4-year journey with this boss of mine that I've had a lot of stress about. I'm on this forced sabbatical right now that I really think I had resigned, and he was angry and threatened my vesting if I didn't go on a sabbatical instead. But I think that was just kind of to save face. At any rate, I had sent him a note saying, setting everything aside, it's a big day for both of us. And I said, congratulations, it was a great deal. And it's an outcome better than we anticipated. And he said, we should catch up. I'd like to do lunch next week, which we're now going to do. So again, at the time I set up the call, I didn't know any of those things were going to happen this way. But so I don't actually know that. I'm actually in a pretty relaxed place. Last time I was very angry and you helped me get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I look and I think, I don't know if I should just be silent with you for a minute, or we should go do a soul retrieval because that's what I felt called to sign up for, or if we should just process for a minute. But so I don't have an ask per se. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. Is that crazy?
No, it's totally fine. And there's nothing wrong with leaving it sort of open-ended for the guides to tell us where we need to go. And I absolutely do remember because I just finished editing your session for the podcast.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
The 2 sessions have been incredibly powerful for me, Annette. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, so what I would like to do is I would like to just get the records open, and I'm going to do a chakra scan for you to see where we are.
That'd be great.
And then we'll just let the guides tell us where we need to go.
That'd be amazing.
So the first thing I'm seeing is that your root chakra is very solid, and they're showing it to me sort of moving in a downward motion. Okay. What does this mean? What is the significance of showing me this in this way? She's on her way to being fully grounded. She's feeling safe in her space, whereas in the past several months, she hasn't been able to feel that way. And she's finally able to feel that she is solidifying something for herself, that she is in control of her destiny as much as one can be in control of their destiny as you're working with the divine. And the other thing they're showing me is that it's almost like a Lego piece that you're putting into place. And it's not quite there yet, but it's like literally almost locking into place. So you're not exactly there yet, but you're on your way to feeling that beautiful grounding space. So then let's move that energy up to your sacral chakra. You seem to have a lot of sexual activations at the moment, and that has to do with your creation energy being activated, that freedom. There's a lot of release in this. Yeah, the release has been a long time coming. It's been something that has been needing to happen. You weren't trusting where this was going. It's good to finally be in a space where you can let go. And they want me to explain the sexual activations that are happening right now. So that happens sometimes when we release something and we feel that beautiful freeness and that aliveness, and it just sort of activates our body. It activates everything that we are, and we feel that joy and that happiness. And that can create those activations within you. It's almost like a furnace is being turned on. Like it's like that fire within you that maybe hasn't been lit for quite some time is now starting to fan the flames a little bit, which is great. Okay, so then let's move that energy up to the solar plexus chakra. Okay, the first word I was hearing is healing. You're healing in your solar plexus chakra right now, getting back your power, feeling more stable. Oh, wow, that's really great. With this whole situation, with your boss, with work, with all of that, the way that they're showing it to me is that like it's almost as if the company, your boss, like everything was trying to suck the energy out of you, like try to suck the life out of you. And what they're showing me is like you stood true and you stood your ground, and they tried. And although it was tough and it was challenging, because you stood your ground and because you held your energy, they were not successful in doing so. A lot of people could have gotten lost in that, lost in the sadness or the loss or the frustration. And you were able to move yourself out of it, which is great. And I'm hearing what now? The thing is that you don't have to worry about a what now just yet. You're still healing in the solar plexus chakra. So imagine that you're a balloon and the entire situation with your job just sort of was like sucking the air out of the balloon. And it didn't suck all the air out. It got like, let's say 75% of the air out. And now what you're doing is you are reinflating that balloon for yourself. So you have to wait until that balloon is reinflated before you can sort of take the next step to the next idea, whatever that idea may be. It may not even have to do with work. It may have to do with something else. But whatever step you're going to take next, just sort of give it some time. So then let's move that energy up to the heart chakra. I'm hearing there is some work that needs to be done there, past life work. You are correct in terms of the soul fragment retrieval. That is something that we will do today as well. Okay. What is it about her heart chakra that needs to be looked at? This is a lifetime that we're going to look at that's actually going to help her to heal her heart and her solar plexus. It was something we didn't cover before because it wasn't particularly pertinent, but it is now. Okay. I feel your crown is opening even further, and you're actually sort of marveling at the space that you have. You have all this expansive space up there in the crown, and you're loving it. You're loving the expansiveness and the newness of it, the space that you have. And I'm not hearing that you're getting too many downloads as of yet, and that's okay because the other chakras need to be a bit cleared first, but also you're enjoying, like I said, you're enjoying the space and the expansiveness of it. If that chakra would get like sort of not bogged down, but like busy with downloads and such, it would feel like a lot of work. And so you're enjoying just not having to do that work right now. So then let's move that energy down into your third eye. Yeah, your third eye is expanding as well. So a lot of the expansion that's happening is due to the fact that you were able to move through some of that anger and that negativity. Anger and negativity does a lot for us, actually. It helps us in a lot of ways. It tells us where we don't want to be. And so being able to connect to that and really move through it has helped you expand even further. Have your psychic gifts been sort of amplified recently? Have you found that to be true?
I don't know that I know. I would say that I literally said to somebody the other day, God, I feel embarrassed. I feel like I've just answered a ton of texts with, it's uncanny you sent a text. I was thinking of you literally an hour ago where I said your name. I literally have noticed that has gone up. I don't know if that would be under that umbrella, but that's really the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that would definitely be under that umbrella. It's the synchronicities, it's the coincidences that we look at in life where we say, yeah, I was just thinking of you and you popped into my head and all of a sudden you send me a text message, that kind of thing. So that is definitely part of it. You're going to really expand in your gifts with some guidance, and we're going to dive into a few of those things today because I feel like it's going to be helpful for you to understand how to access them, and because the expansion is happening and sometimes we don't know that it's happening. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's slowly unlocking and we're like, yeah, just living our lives. And then we shift gears and then you start focusing on the gifts and then they're all there. And you're like, wait a minute, why are these all here now? These weren't here before. And the reason why is because they're just sort of slowly coming online. And if we're not paying attention to it, then basically they're just growing and growing and growing. And then when you finally pay attention to it, you're like, oh, this is cool. Wait, I can do this. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for you. Okay, beautiful. All right, so then let's move that energy down into your throat chakra. Okay, yeah. So I'm hearing practice, practice, practice. And you have done a lot of that over the course of the last few months. You have done a lot of practice about speaking your mind, about speaking your heart, about being in your heart space and not responding from your pain or your wounding. So very, very nice job. And there's still practice to be done. And they're saying it's a refining. All right, wonderful. I want to thank Akula, my Akashic guide. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon for being here as well and giving us access to the records today. Today, we are opening up the Akashic Records. Great. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to go to the soul retrieval first. So I would like you to imagine that you're standing in a field of grass and flowers, and surrounding you is a circle of trees, offering up that beautiful divine light protection. And I would like you to imagine that in front of you, there's a door And I would like you to open the door and walk inside. And inside is your beautiful sacred space. It's a place where your Akashic Records are held. And I would like you to imagine that you're standing in a space off to your left. It's a big, expansive space. And we're going to set the intention to recall any soul fragments that you may have given to others. So the first thing that I'm seeing is a child. This child is moving towards you with hands outstretched, with a soul fragment that you gave to this child. Can we take a look at what was the reason why she gave that soul fragment to the child, please? Yes. Immediately I was feeling an overwhelming feeling. Feeling was in my chest. It was some complete system overload and overwhelm. I'm hearing it's some sort of natural disaster. I'm seeing a volcano of some sort. It's raining really, really hard, and the volcano is erupting. You're standing with 3 children. They are your children. They're all very small. I'm seeing that they're all under the age of 4, and I'm hearing 2, 3, 4. So it's like you had them in consecutive order. I am hearing one of them isn't your biological child, though. One of them is a child you had taken in, a neighbor's child who had died, and the child was orphaned. And so you took in that child. You knew the neighbor very well, so you also knew the child well. It was the middle child. The child you gave your soul fragment to was the oldest, the 4-year-old. I'm seeing somehow the younger 2 perished in this volcanic eruption. There were pieces of rock, like flaming rock, that were hitting the houses and setting them on fire. Yeah, so the overwhelm I was feeling was the grief because you knew that you had lost your other 2 children. You did perish in this event with the oldest child. The reason why you gave him the soul fragment is just from the trauma of the event and the love that you had for him. It happens on occasion when you go through a traumatic event like this or a traumatic death that you will give a part of your soul to a loved one as you are dying or as they are dying. I am hearing something to the effect of, I'm giving you all that I am to protect you. You felt like you failed him too because you wanted to protect him and you couldn't. I'm not seeing your husband anywhere. I'm hearing he was not in the village, like he was not in town. He was elsewhere. That was another experience for him altogether because he would be coming back to the village knowing that his entire family was gone. You had hope at a certain point because of the rain. You thought that the rain would squash the fires and help you to survive. And it did prolong things for you, but it did not save. Okay. All right. So we're going to ask for this child to return the soul fragment. And he's already handing it to you, so he knows that it needs to go back to you. And I would like to ask for your guardian angels of the highest light to clear and cleanse this soul fragment of any energy that does not belong to you. And I would like you to set the intention to recall this soul fragment to your soul now. Okay. Were there any soul fragments that the child gave to her? No. Okay. All right, great. It is complete. Okay, are there any other soul fragments that we need to recall back to her soul? Yes, just one more. Okay. This is coming in from a man, grown man. He's very tall, very skinny. His energy is almost wrapped around you. Okay, who is this, please? This is her husband from a previous lifetime. Okay. Okay, so he's not somebody who loved you unconditionally. He is somebody who loved you with control. That's why I'm seeing his energy wrapped around you. He tried to control you at every turn. No matter what you did, you could not please him, though. You did everything you possibly could to please him. No matter what you did, it was never right. It was never good enough. I'm hearing the words, I'm giving you all that I am. What else do you want from me? He's saying, I want a wife that obeys. And you're so frustrated because you're saying, what am I not obeying? I've done everything for you. I've done everything you've asked me to do. And he's saying to you that he shouldn't have to ask. He withdrew a lot of his love from you. It's like he held it hostage and you were constantly striving to get that love back, to get him to treat you better, to get him to treat you the way he did when you first met. And it was in this process that you slowly gave him parts of your soul. So this one doesn't have to be him that gives it back. This one has to be you that recalls it back, setting the intention to recall your soul energy from this man, as it is not in your highest good to give any amount of your soul energy to somebody who is not treating you with unconditional love and respect. And I'm hearing that version of you from that past life saying, well, what if he leaves me? I'm going to be left with nothing. And that was part of your fear at the time. Your fear was that if he did leave you, that he threatened to do many times, that you would not be able to survive.
Okay, so is there anything else that we need to do to recall these soul fragments? No. I want to set the intention that any and all soul fragments that are being returned to her soul now are being cleared and cleansed before they re-enter her soul energy field. Okay, great, thank you. Has she received any soul fragments from anyone outside of herself? She has. Just one. Okay. This is from a mother. Okay. A mother from a previous life had given her a soul fragment in her death. It was not a traumatic death. This woman who was her mother died of old age, but the soul fragment was given out of the incredible love she had for her. She had 3 daughters, 2 sons, and you were by far her favorite. You were the youngest of the girls, but you were connected to her in a way that was undeniable. You had a relationship with her that would be considered perfection for a mother-daughter relationship. You supported each other. You helped each other. You had mutual respect for each other. You learned from each other. This woman was part of your soul family. It is a soul that is incarnated with you now in this lifetime. She's not your mother in this lifetime, though. I'm getting the impression that she's a friend in your life right now. I'm hearing a lifelong friend. So we're going to set the intention to return that soul fragment to her, clearing and cleansing that soul fragment of any energy that does not belong to her, allowing that soul fragment to be reunited with the soul. It is complete. Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any more soul fragment work we need to do today? No. Okay, do you have any questions about what we just did?
I don't think so.
Okay, how do you feel?
I feel peaceful and rested. I was actually very, very tired while we were doing that, but I feel lighter now and rested. So I feel good.
Good. There are going to be some adjustments over the course of the next several days. Sometimes when you recall soul fragments that haven't been with you for a while, because I got that the lifetime where you died in the volcano eruption, it was a long time ago. It was a very long time ago. That soul fragment hasn't been with you for a very long time. So there can be sort of a reintegration period where just parts of that soul are just kind of getting acquainted with your soul energy now. Okay. Does she have to be aware of any physical symptoms or aspects of that? Yes. There can be some elements of aches or pains that you might have over the next couple of days. That is part of the integration. You might feel ungrounded as well. So make sure that you're doing your grounded exercises. Okay. That is it. All right. Wonderful. Okay. So next we're going to go into the heart chakra and what we need to look at there. Let's take a look at the past life we need to look at for the heart chakra, please. There's something that we need to address first. Okay, what is that? The reason why we are bringing up the heart chakra now and this particular lifetime now, she has to know the reason why. It is because she is ready to address this particular issue and she's going to have some resistance to it. The resistance is coming from a place that is deep down in her heart space. And it has been in resistance for many, many lifetimes. It may not make sense to her as to why she's being resistant, but we wanted her to understand why she would be. Okay, so what is she resistant to? Is it the work that she needs to do? Yes. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's take a look at what that is then. Is that her? No. Okay. Who are we looking at here? It's her father. We are going back several lifetimes in this. This is a soul that she's had many incarnations with. So the first thing I'm seeing is he's looking at jewels. So he's holding up to his eye something very sparkly. Could be like a ruby or something to that effect. It looks red or orange. And he's looking at each one. He has a bunch of them sitting in front of him on a desk. And I'm hearing him say these will do just fine. They're fake. Okay. You're young. You're about 6 or 7. And you have a brother who's 8. And your father used the 2 of you to basically swindle people, selling them these jewels that were fake. Sometimes he would have them set into necklaces or jewelry, but most of the time he would just sell them on their own. He would make you perform, like be the cutest thing you possibly could be to make people trust him. And I'm hearing him like say to you, like you're supposed to compliment the people, like, oh, that necklace looks really beautiful on you or things like that. And because you were so young, having a 6-year-old say that is adorable and people would just lose their minds at how cute you were. But you knew he wasn't being honest. You felt it. You knew his soul. You knew he was very, very greedy. And I just get this feeling that you knew that he would sell you if he could. Like if you got a good price, he would sell you and your brother. Money was the most important thing to him. As you got older, he made you do more and more things that were deceptive, and you were really good at it. He taught you from a very, very young age how to be deceitful how to play on people's emotions. And it got to the point where you loved it. You actually really, really liked the game. He had you convinced that it was sort of morally right to do. And he did that because of like victim mentality. So he basically would tell you things like, well, nobody else is ever going to give us an opportunity. We're never going to be able to survive or support ourselves. So we have to take matters into our own hands. And these people have money and we do not. It created this hatred in your heart. What exactly where was the hatred coming from? So it first started with other people. So if you were trying to sell something that was fake or swindle somebody and somebody like could see through you, you would get angry at them. You were super angry when somebody would call you out. You were angry at people who were more fortunate than you. You were angry at everyone outside of yourself, when in fact the anger was directed towards yourself. Your father as well, but mostly to yourself. And what needs to happen here with this lifetime, and the reason why they're showing it to you, is you need to forgive yourself for what you did, for the knowing deception. It turned into almost a pathology later on in life where you would have affairs with other people's husbands, things like that. Like it became, you were everything that was deceptive. You didn't actually know who you were as a person. You were always this persona, this person that was acting. And your task, and the reason why they're bringing this up now, and the way to clear your heart chakra is to embrace this person that you were, to love her, to give her the love that she didn't have, to allow her to be who she is, and give her that forgiveness. There will be parts of this version of you that will come up in your consciousness. It might come up in the way of other people. Like maybe you might hear stories of somebody getting taken advantage of or something to that effect. It might show up in different places. It could be a TV show even. And they want you to practice that forgiveness in that space because it is necessary for you to be able to move forward with a lighter heart. Okay. Is there anything else about that particular lifetime? No, not at this time. Okay, so do you have any questions about that one?
I don't think so. Annette, they're just sort of floating over me.
Okay. How did you feel about her?
I felt compassion, like, and kind of that duality of like becoming deception, like becoming really good at it and just being able to use it as a tool. And yet that was a survival tool that she had ingrained in her. And so just feeling a lot of understanding around that.
Okay, good. Have you had any people in your life that you can think of who have been like that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, to some extent, I would say, I hate to use the word grifter, but my parents have a bit of that, quite a bit of that in them, where it's like the number of good opportunities where they needed my money or would use my credit card without asking or all that stuff. Certainly, I've had a lot of that in my life. And then so that part, and yet I believe my parents were kind of doing the best they could to survive. But yes, they would have sold me in a second. I feel that way in this life. And yet also see the ways I have been artful and manipulative myself and know that I was raised with it. And fortunately don't really feel like I live in that space much at all. But see ways I played in that space more like in my 20s. And I'm grateful that came and went. It just felt gross. I didn't want to do it. So the grifter thing with my parents, it's just energy I recognize.
So that's the energy that they want you to work with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and excuse me, one other thing, Annette, I just wanted to say, and like,
yeah,
also when I look at work, this boss, the part about like money was the most important thing. Both of my parents, it's like the obsession with money. My parents, because they needed it, because he just wants it. It's just a really common, like that's the other piece. So both of those.
That's a common theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's interesting is that it's not something that you've necessarily been focused on. You have, but you haven't. But it's not something that you have ever been like, oh, I must have more money or I'm money driven. That's not sort of who you are. But what's interesting is that money just comes to you anyway. And so because of that, there is a little bit of a discrepancy in the energy between you and your parents, as well as you and your boss, where they look at you with eyes of jealousy. Like, I am so driven. This is sort of your boss speaking. I am so driven and I try to get everything that I possibly can. And I feel like I work harder than her to get it. And yet she gets it easily. These are not conscious thoughts necessarily, but these are things that they deal with. So your role in his life, as well as your parents' life, has been to show them you don't need to deceive in order to have abundance. that you can have abundance without focusing entirely on it and sacrificing everything in your life to get it. So that has been your role for them. One of the things that I would like to do now is I would like to check in with a younger version of yourself and see how she's feeling about your parents, about how they would take advantage of you or how they would, as you said, sell you in a second. What I would like you to do is just close your eyes and imagine a particular age that you are, where you felt that energy the most. Just use your intuition to tell you what age you are.
Annette, I don't know whether it's better to go back even further. I mean, there was definitely like a time that I can taste when I was in my mid 30s where I just thought, oh, wow, they are gaming the system right now to try and get as much money out of me as they can. I also probably felt that way when I was around 17, 18 and sort of looking at what I would do in life and just feel like the pressure to move me in a certain place because it felt like money to them. So those are the two that pop up.
Okay. So let's address the one that came up first for you. So the 30-year-old version of you. Okay. So I would like you to imagine that you are standing right in front of that 30-year-old version of you. I would like you to acknowledge her presence. You could even give her a hug if you'd like. And I would like you to ask her how she's feeling right now.
She is feeling both jumpy and seen. The jumpiness is anytime it feels like somebody is standing in front of her and seeing her, there's an ask is coming. Something is being expected.
Okay.
At the same time, she is wanting to believe that this is a different moment.
Okay, beautiful. So you can just have a small conversation with her. Just let her know who you are. Tell her that it is a safe space for her to vent or to express to you what she's feeling regarding your parents or regarding where she is with money or anything that she wants to express to you.
She is talking about how there she is in her mid 30s and she feels like it was her time to be free and to explore and to take risks and to try and to reach. And she was just confronted with this excessive need for money from her parents. She was the only one not married for most of her life. And so her parents would bring all their financial needs to her because there was no like spouse that needed to know. And she is feeling like less about that she lost that moment in time to take risks and explore, and more that the pattern that was deepened inside of her was this idea of like, there's never going to be enough. There's always so much to do. There's like that sense of like insecurity. And so the need to like focus and drive and whatever to make sure that she was safe.
Would you like to ask her to imagine that the energy of your parents are being removed right now? The energy of your parents' need, their desire for money, your perceived obligation that you need to help them.
Yes.
Just allow that to be removed right now. And then ask her if that feeling is the same. Does she still feel like there's more to do? She has to do more?
No, it's funny. It feels lighter. It matches something that's been kind of emerging in me, which is I'm just fine. I'm going to be okay no matter what I decide to do. It's all just, I have more than enough already. And yeah, like and I feel that for her. I feel that with her.
There feels like a tiny bit of an obligation based on that previous lifetime we looked at, where you felt like you needed to give back to make up for what you had done in that previous lifetime. So it was almost as if you, as a soul, said, well, whatever people need, I'm going to give it to them because I need to make up for what I did before. No, what is interesting is that had your life unfolded in a way that was, let's say, you were very successful and let's say you were giving to a parent or a sibling who really, truly needed the money, who wasn't grifting, who wasn't trying to take advantage, who was very much in need, it wouldn't teach you the lesson that you don't need to do this. If it was justified, you would probably continue to give and give and give and give because, well, yeah, of course I'm going to give. I have abundance and my loved one doesn't. So of course I'm going to give. That doesn't teach you the lesson that you needed to learn, which is you don't need to do this. You don't need to make up for that previous version of yourself. It is already forgiven. And that idea that you need to make up for it is yours and yours alone. And so you can let go of it any time. They're saying to me that this is where some of that resistance can kind of come in, where if somebody is in need, that you are under no obligation to give. If you feel guided to, if it feels good for you, then do it. If it does not feel guided, if you feel resistance to it, then don't.
And thank you for all of that. I think it was the words "an obligation to give." Oh God, just like resonated so strongly with me. Yeah, that it's not always just giving from joy. It's giving totally from obligation, whether this lifetime or another. And I just like that idea of, and not just money. I have no obligation to give just because someone else needs something. Like that is like a breakthrough thought for me.
Absolutely. It is up to you to use your discernment in that. Do you have enough to give? And I'm not even talking about just money. I'm talking about energy.
Yeah, time, energy.
Time. Yeah. So that's something that they really want you to work on, because it's going to be helpful for you moving forward into the next chapter. And if you can just ask your heart space, like if you're about to give, ask your heart space, is it in my highest good to give? Is it in this person's highest good to receive? I often do that when somebody asks me for something, even if it's something as simple as you pass somebody who's living on the streets and they're asking you for money. I will always ask my guides, does this person truly need my help? Because sometimes people sign up for situations that they need to hit a rock bottom, so to speak, in order to turn their lives around. And maybe helping them is actually enabling them. Maybe it's not actually helping them at all. So asking your guides and asking their higher self, is this something that you need? Is this something that I can help with that will help improve the situation of your life? Or is it perpetuating a pattern that needs to be broken? Those are the questions that you need to ask. And most of the time, your feelings about the giving will give you the answer. So if you feel resistance to it, that's usually a really good indication that maybe it's not in that person's highest good or your highest good.
Yeah.
If you are feeling joyful about the giving, then that typically means that it's aligned. So how does that 30-year-old version of you, how does she feel right now?
She feels lighter. She feels more free. She feels more possibility.
Good.
Less obligation.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good. So I would like you to invite in the 17 or 18-year-old version of you and have her be with the both of you, with the 30-year-old version of you and your current version. And I would like you to ask her the same questions. How does she feel?
It's funny, and I don't know whether it's because she was able to sort of watch what was happening with the 30-something me, but she actually feels awake. She feels awake to what was happening. She gave into it, but she feels a little feisty to me right now. Like, now I know better. That's how it feels. I don't know.
Does she feel free?
She does, actually.
Good. So I would like you to connect with both of these versions of you whenever that comes up. Whatever it is that comes up, if it's an obligation to give, if it's a feeling of backed into a corner because somebody is requiring something of you, whatever it happens to be, I want you to connect with these two versions of yourself, check in with them, see how they're doing. This is going to help you to open your heart even more. This is why this is connected to your heart chakra. Part of this has to do with trusting of others and trusting in yourself. And there's been a lot of lack of trust over the course of your lifetime. And so being able to trust yourself is the key to opening your heart. You actually don't necessarily have to trust other people right away. You can know that you can trust yourself. And once you trust yourself, trust your judgment, trust your intuition, trust all of those things. It becomes much easier to use your discernment on whether or not you're going to let somebody in, trust somebody, have them come in and help you, partner with them, whatever it happens to be. It helps you in that. How many times do you see people who do not trust other people at all? Well, why don't they trust other people? Mainly because they don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves to be able to draw the boundaries. They don't trust themselves to be able to set those intentions for what is best for them and not get walked all over. They don't trust that the other person isn't going to actively try to hurt them. But when you love and trust yourself, the other person can try to hurt you all they want, and it has little to no effect. It allows you to understand and know who deserves your love and attention. Somebody who is reciprocal, somebody who is there for you, somebody who has that unconditional love. And this is something that's semi-new for you moving forward. You've had your heart open in the past, and now it's just expanding into a larger version of that. And sometimes that can be scary, but opening your heart up more allows that frequency of divine love to come in so you can manifest more, so you can love more, so you can create more, knowing that you're standing on the solid foundation of who you are. How does that feel?
Great.
Good.
Absolutely great. Absolutely great.
Amazing.
It is. It is, Annette. Amazing.
All right. Do you have any specific questions you would like to ask?
I may be complete. If I had a question, I mean, it's curiosity. I don't know that it surfaces or not. I'm intrigued with people like who reincarnate with you. Do most people have multiple of these?
Do most people have multiple?
I mean, like, I think there was somebody who said she's in your life again. She's traveled with you or something like that. And I'm just curious, is that, do we have like a pack that travels through time with us?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So this is called a soul family. And that's what I was speaking about earlier with the woman that was your mother, where you had that really beautiful relationship with.
Yes.
Soul family are basically parts of the same soul. So essentially, when we individualize from divine source energy, we break off sort of in a nucleus, if you will. And inside the nucleus, if you can imagine, like there are about anywhere from 200 to 700 souls within that space. Okay. And that's basically your soul family. So you've got very similar soul signatures. You've got very similar soul energies. And so oftentimes you have sort of a same job, if you will. So let's say it's that particular soul family's job to really learn forgiveness or really learn unconditional love. That is your job as a group. So you're basically going to go and incarnate in various different situations in order to learn those lessons, in order to anchor in that unconditional love or forgiveness. When we have members of our soul family, we incarnate with them over and over and over again because we know the soul signatures, we know what we're here to do, and we play that role. Just because somebody's a member of your soul family doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a harmonious connection in the physical. Sometimes they will incarnate as the villain in your story or the challenge in your life, and vice versa, if that is what is needed. The beautiful thing about having a member of your soul family come in and be the challenging person in your life is that you have a soul connection. So you have that love and that care about that person on a soul level already. And so once they challenge you, it does trigger you in a much better way. Think about the people that you have in your life that you don't really care about. And if they trigger you, you're like, yeah, whatever. All right. I don't really care. Like it may affect you, but it may not affect you nearly as much as, let's say, a parent or a sibling or a really good friend. So it's going to hit you in a different way when you have a member of your soul family. Oftentimes, members of your soul family are going to be people who you just know. Like you see them, you meet them, you just talk for hours, and you just know that you have known each other before. Oftentimes, that's what people would call soulmates. And there are members of your soul family that can be soulmates. So it is somebody who is very close to you. And so there are members of your soul family you will incarnate with over and over again. Maybe you don't actually incarnate with other members of your soul family at all. There are oftentimes members of the soul family that will stay on the other side and won't actually incarnate on Earth. So it really just depends. So yeah, we sign up with these people over and over again, which is fun.
Very, very, very interesting. Okay, that is good. That is good. That is good. No, Annette, I don't know that I have any other questions. I feel like I probably have on our other calls, but I just feel, honestly, I feel a little cleansed right now.
Good.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. And I like also the assignment of connecting to my 30-something and my 17-something-year-old and seeing how they're feeling about things and that freedom. I want to say much better, but I don't really mean it that way. Much different assignments. The last time you gave me an assignment on our last call, it was about like talking to this ball of bitterness in my chest, which was super helpful. But this feels very different. So you know, that is all very, very helpful and good. But yes, this is very different. So I'll take it for today.
Amazing. One of the things that you can also do, and this is a really great tool to use, whenever you have something pop up, let's say it's a feeling or emotion that you know is tied to something in your childhood. This is how we unravel belief systems. So let's say, I'll use a good example from my life. For a long time, I wouldn't take things back to a store. Like if, let's say, something didn't fit or something like that or whatever, I wouldn't take it back to a store. And the reason why I wouldn't do that is because I remember being a child and my mom taking things back to a store. And because we grew up really poor, if they wouldn't take it back, she would start crying or she would start carrying on or just begging and pleading for them to take it back because she needed money, whatever it was. And so I was so mortified by that I basically had vowed to myself never to do that again, never to take anything back. At one point in my life, I had to stop and realize that, oh, okay, this is not mine. This is hers. And I can take something back to a store without crying, without carrying on and things like that. So it's like relieving myself from that fear, embarrassment, all of that. I had to go in and talk to that little girl. And I know exactly where that little girl was. She was hiding in the little circular clothes racks. She was hiding in the clothes racks because she was so mortified.
Yeah.
I went in there and I chatted with her and said, hey, look, this isn't yours. It's okay. And how do you feel? And what can I do? If it's something that I can give her, then I will try to give her that solace, that comfort, that hug, whatever it is she needs. That helps you to release that energy of what you took on from the parent. So that's just a really quick example of a belief system of, oh, I can't take anything back to a store. Well, why? Yeah, you can take it back to a store. You're just choosing not to because of this belief system. Whenever you have a belief system that pops up, you can use this exercise to chat with that previous version of yourself to see, okay, what is it that I'm truly connecting to here? Is this mine? Is this my belief system? Is this something that I want to carry on for the rest of my life? Or is it not? Because there are some belief systems that are great that you can hang on to. But I always say that belief systems are there to be changed and evolved. And if you're not evolving that belief system, or if that's not changing, well, figure out why. Is it because it is somebody else's and you have no further need for it and it doesn't need to evolve? That's great. And that's something you can kind of explore. So in this space of lightness that you're feeling, in this feeling of clearing that you're feeling, this is a really good time for those things to pop up. And so what I like to tell people is set the intention that you would like to clear any and all belief systems that don't belong to you, any and all mantras or phrases that are said in your head that don't belong to you. Think about like old wives' tales or superstitions, things like that people say. Those would be considered like phrases or something that people would say that don't necessarily need to belong to you. And they're saying to me that that's going to be a fun little exploration for you. And when you notice them, you can just write them down. You don't have to deal with them right then and there. But if you notice them, just write it down and say, okay, this is a belief system. Where is this coming from? And then you can explore it in a meditation later.
Love it.
All right.
Beautiful. And thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. So I am going to close the Akashic Records. Thank you to Akula, my Akashic guide. Thank you to Archangel Metatron and Archangel Xenophon for being here as well, helping us with the clearing work, the soul fragment retrieval, and allowing us access to the records. Thank you. The records are closed. The records are closed. The records are closed. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Annette, thank you so much. And Annette, a session like this where I come in and I don't really have a vision, that's okay. Yes?
100%.
Beautiful. Great.
Yeah, clearly, because they were able to tell us all the things you needed to know.
To know. Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's right. Well, fabulous. Thank you so much, Annette. I so appreciate you.
You're very welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
I want to thank Abbey once again for allowing me to record her session for the purpose of the podcast. First, today we're going to talk about soul fragments. Soul fragments are not only just pieces of your soul that you give to somebody else or that someone else gives to you. They are in fact fractures within your energy field. They can create dissonance. They can create holes. They can create leaks in your energy. They can wreak all sorts of havoc on your energy field if they are not properly returned to whom they originally belonged to. Soul fragments are something that happen on a relatively regular basis here on Earth. And it has to do with a particular trauma. It has to do with a particular emotion or feeling that the person might be feeling at that time. A yearning, a need, anguish, any sort of desperation can create that type of soul fragment that tears the energy in your energy field. There are many people out there that have been living lifetime after lifetime with soul fragments from other people and other experiences. It depends on how compromised your energy field is to begin with. If your energy field is compromised by entities or by other aspects of your experience that your soul has had on this planet, you can be more susceptible to having more and more fractures in your soul's energy. When you give a soul fragment to another, essentially, you are ripping a part of your soul energy out of your energy field and giving it to that other person, to that other soul. Could it be mistaken for an entity, if you will? It could. because essentially it is a piece of energy that does not belong, that is holding on to another person's energy field. And if it's there long enough, it will integrate into the other person's energy field. There will always be dissonance between the energy of the fragment and the energy of the person that is carrying the fragment. And that is because our soul energies are all so very different. And yes, it could, in fact, start to assimilate, if you will, turn into a more like energy, but it will never be exactly the same. And so therefore, it will always be a part of the energy field that is causing some sort of friction or dissonance. When you're able to recall the soul fragment back to you, it may have gone through any amount of evolutionary changes based on the soul that it was with for the amount of time that it was. And so this is why when we recall soul fragments, we ask them to be cleared of any energy that does not belong to us. So we can remove any and all energy that has shifted the original energy of our soul fragment. So once we recall that soul fragment, it needs to be reintegrated into the energy field. And the repairs need to be done to the energy field by your own healing, by your own Reiki energy, or you can ask for assistance from your guides, from the Ascended Masters, anyone you work with to help you with energy healing, you can ask them to help as well. There are things that can happen when we give our soul fragments to others where their energy can influence us from afar. If you can imagine, it's almost like a long distance telephone line that is attached through an energetic cord between you and that other person. It is not necessarily a telephone line that you would like to have connected to you, especially if you are no longer incarnating with this soul. So this is something that allows you to remove that connection to that soul. The soul fragment, when it is returned to its original owner, no longer leaves an open gap in the energy field to stay connected to that other soul. And likewise, if someone has given you a soul fragment, that energy is having an effect on you. It is an open line to that other person's energy. You may have this other person's energy affecting you and not even realize that it's happening. You may feel differently about certain aspects of your life than would be typical for you. You might have reactions to things that seem out of the ordinary for what you would normally react to. Oftentimes, these disjointed energies can reveal themselves in that way. You can see that that particular energy doesn't match with your own. So maybe you have a particular behavior that is very uncharacteristic. That could be an indication that you have a soul fragment that somebody has given to you. It is something that is easily done to give the soul fragments back and to receive your soul fragments back to your original soul energy. It is important, though, to have somebody, a practitioner or somebody to work with you to be able to help heal the energy field, close the energy field as the work is being done, to clear up any fractures, to seal up any holes, to make sure that you have no more leaks in your energy field. If you are not adept at seeing these things energetically, you may miss one of these pieces of your energy field that are fractured, and it can cause energetic leaks. Soul fragments are not anything to be worried about. It is something that needs to be addressed just like anything in your energetic and spiritual life. Clearing your energy, being aware of your past lives, your soul purpose, your life purpose. It is just another one of these things that you need to be aware of as you move forward in your journey on this planet. When you are able to be free of these soul fragments, it allows you to be free from being tied to other souls and other people that may not serve you in this lifetime, that may not be part of your experience in this lifetime, and therefore the only effect may be energetic. But it also helps clear your energy in that way. So it is important for everyone to take a look at. And not everybody has soul fragments. Some souls are really adept at clearing those things on their own before they come into incarnations. Transmuters, for example, if you are that type of soul, then you likely are able to return those soul fragments and transmute the energy. And your soul does that naturally without even realizing on a human 3D level that it's been done. And it's something that you can simply ask your intuition, ask your heart if you have any soul fragments from anyone else, and you'll get a yes or no. And you can also ask, have you given anybody any soul fragments in this or any other lifetime? And you will get a yes or no within your intuition. And the last question I have for my guides regarding soul fragments is, can we have physical ailments due to a soul fragment that has been given to us? It can create discord within your energy field and within your physical body. However, it is not going to cause a physical illness, as you are asking about the physical body. It can create issues within the energy field, certainly within the flow of your energy field, which could in fact lead to some form of illness if it is compounded by other experiences within your human journey. So it's not that the soul fragments directly will cause an illness of any sort in the physical body, but it does weaken the energetic system, so it is more susceptible to breakdowns within the physical body if they are already there to begin with. Imagine it's a little bit like having a safety net around you, and that's essentially what your energy field is. And if there is a hole in your safety net where something can get through, then that is going to be the weak spot of the safety net. And that is essentially what happens when you have fractures in your soul energy based on soul fragments. Okay, great. Thank you for giving us that answer. All right. So just like anything else in our experience on this planet, we always get reminders about what we need to work on in this particular lifetime. So while we still have the veil of forgetfulness, if you will, the odds are stacked in our favor based on our soul planning meeting, based on what we decide for ourselves to remind us of the things that we need to work on. This is something that we do address in this session as well, is that something within your current life can very much echo something in a past life, as it did with Abbey. We talked about the past life where her parents were grifters, and she starts telling us about how in this current lifetime, her parents are very much the same. And you might ask why that would happen. Like, why would we have continually the same experience from one lifetime to the next? And the reason why is because we have not learned that lesson. We haven't cleared that energy. There's something we still need to do regarding that particular situation. And we don't know exactly what it is, but our experience in the beginning of life especially kind of guides us in the direction that we need to go. So from that perspective, she was able to see how her parents operated, and she was able to figure it out and decide to make another path for herself, one that was much more aligned for her. Once she got into the space of being able to realize that being more heart-led was the direction she wanted to go, she started to separate herself from her parents and from her upbringing. And that is something that often happens. I get this all the time in sessions where people ask me, like, why is it that what I'm experiencing in this life seems to have happened in previous lifetimes, maybe once, but maybe multiple times? And the reason why is because it is a reminder. It is a reminder of what we have been stuck on. Maybe this has been many, many lifetimes that we've been working on this and we just can't seem to get the hang of it. And that's okay. There's no judgment in any of that. Sometimes it takes us many, many lifetimes to master something or to overcome something. The aspects of the reminders that can be helpful are in the patterns. So when you are able to start seeing the patterns, when you see this in past lives, when you see how you maybe responded in a past life and then see how you respond in this one, you can see the progress, you can see the growth, and that can help you move forward even further on your journey and on your soul path. So pay attention to the things that maybe you experienced in the beginning of life, the challenges that you had, and what those taught you. What decisions did you make that are different? And you don't necessarily even need to know about your past lives right now to identify the places in which you have grown. You can always look back. Hindsight is always so much clearer, right? because when you're able to look back and say, yeah, I see what I did there and I see why I did it. And now I can understand where I am now based on that context. And that's what it is. It's all about context. It's all about where we were versus where we are now versus where we're going. And to be able to be in that present moment and assess what you did in the past and make different decisions can make all the difference in your life moving forward. Now, one of the things that can be difficult, and this is something I've struggled with quite often, which is you feel like you've healed that part of you or you feel like you've moved forward. But let's say that energy just keeps on getting activated. And it could be activated or triggered by somebody else, or it could be activated by your own brain. There are so many times when I feel like I am completely moved on from a particular energy, and then my brain kicks in and starts saying things that maybe my brain would say to me in the past. Negative things or harsh things or fearful things. And when those things start coming in, you have to acknowledge the fact that your brain is still operating maybe the same way that it did back then. That does not mean that you are not healed. What that means is you just need to start training your brain to think differently. And that's where the conscious work needs to happen in the physical, where if you have a thought about something that is, let's say, not serving you and is from the past that you know that you've healed from, it's now time to say to your brain, cool, I get it. I understand why you're doing this. This is not necessary anymore. We don't need to do this to ourselves anymore. We don't need to beat ourselves up or think about the worst case scenario or be in fear or wonder if this last shoe is going to drop. Whatever it is, you can have a conversation with your brain and say, okay, what thoughts can we think now instead of that thought? What can we do to change the habit of the thinking? Because it is a habit. It is something that you have put on repeat for how many years? And so sometimes that's going to take a little while to get out of your head and to train it to say different things. It's a little bit like having a song in your head. And I know this happens to all of you. So think about the last time you had a song that was just repeating over and over and over again in your head. What did you do? Well, some of my friends, they will play that song so they can hear it, so then they can let it go. Other people I know will play totally different music in order to get different songs in their heads, and then they can get rid of the song that is stuck in their head for days. Whatever you decide to do, there is no right or wrong. It's just about being able to decide that, yes, I'm going to do something about it. I'm not going to let this song just stay in my head for the next 3 days. I am going to do something to make sure that something else is going through my brain, right? Some other song is going to go through my brain. And it's the same with your negative thoughts. It's the same with your fearful thoughts. It's the same with your thoughts of what ifs and, oh my gosh, I'm not safe, even though maybe right now you are completely safe, but you are responding from past feelings of being unsafe. So acknowledge what your brain is telling you, and then also decide that this is within your power to change. Thank you so much for joining me today. I cannot wait to connect with you next week for another new episode. If you've been enjoying this podcast, it would mean so much if you could like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other platform. And if you feel inspired, leaving a review is always appreciated. If you're following along on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode of the Akashic Recordings. Also, if you feel called to work with me personally, you can book a session at any time at infinitesoullove.com. Everything can be scheduled directly on my website. Thank you so much